Hi guys, I'm here to do Fragment Friday. I am going to do it Positively by Courtney Sheinmel. I am going to read Chapter 2. In Chapter 1, all that has happened so far is that this girl, and of course I'm not going to remember her name, Emerson Price, her mother dies. Her mother had AIDS, and she died when Emerson was 13. And so this is in the present that this is happening. And so they're getting ready for her funeral and that. So I'm going to start with Chapter 2. The funeral was 2 days later. My Aunt Laura, my Uncle Rob, and my grandfather had all come in the day before, and of course Lisa was still there. The house felt strange, like it was too full. I was still used to it being just Mom and me. I thought maybe if I fell asleep, when I woke up it would turn back to the way it was before, but it was impossible for me to sleep at all. In the morning the sun came through the window and lit up my room. I had let it get very messy. The clothes I'd worn the past couple of days were on the floor, along with 100 other things that had been in my closet. It had been hard to figure out what to wear. All those months that Mom was coughing, I didn't think she was dying, and I never thought about asking someone to take me to the mall to buy an outfit to wear for the funeral. The thing was, Mom was always the person I went shopping with. I tore everything out of the closet and threw it on the floor. Afterward, I looked at all my clothes lying there. There was no reason to put them away. I was going to have to pack it all up anyway when I moved to Dad's, so I just left them there. Lisa came in to make sure I was awake, which of course I was. She was holding a cup of coffee. I could see the steam rising up off of the top. I watched her step around my clothes carefully so she wouldn't fall and spill the coffee everywhere, but she didn't say anything about the mess. I sat on the edge of my bed with my legs crossed. I was wearing a light gray dress that Mom had bought me a year before at our favorite store. It had been at the very back of my closet, and when I tried it on, it was too short. But when I stood in front of the mirror, I actually thought it looked better that way. My hair was pulled back tight in a half ponytail. It gave me a little headache, but I didn't want to loosen it because I kind of liked the way it felt. "You're dressed already?" Lisa said. She was still wearing pajamas, leggings, and an old shirt of Mom's. It said Fleetwood Mac, sold out, on the back. I nodded. "You look very pretty," she said. "Thank you," I said. Lisa sat down next to me on the bed. She put the coffee mug down on my nightstand. Once, when I was visiting Dad, I put a can of soda down on one of the side tables, and Meg got upset because I didn't use a coaster. She said the wood would get ring stains, but I didn't care if the coffee mug left a mark. Lisa moved her palm across the comforter to smooth it out. I kept thinking, this is what I'll be wearing when my mother is buried. I was watching Lisa's hand move across the bed, but I was picturing the coffin being lowered into the ground, and me standing next to the grave in my gray dress that was too short, with my hair pulled back too tight. Then I thought of the other outfit, the one Mom was wearing. Lisa had showed me the dress she'd picked out before she had sent it over to the funeral home. It was rose-colored and had a tie around the waist. I blinked quickly so I could stop seeing it. "Do you want to come downstairs?" Lisa asked. "You can have some cereal." "I'm really not hungry," I told her. "I know," she said. She stood up and held out her hand. "Come on." "Is everyone downstairs?" "Your grandfather went for a walk a little while ago. I think Laura went with him." "What about Uncle Rob?" "He was on the phone with someone from his office a few minutes ago," Lisa said. "His office?" "Well, it's a weekday," Lisa said. "Oh, yeah," I said. It was hard to remember the difference between weekdays and weekends. I hadn't gone to school in almost a week, and it felt like forever. The last time I was at school, Mom was alive. It was strange that people had to go to school and to work now that she was gone. It still felt like the whole world should have just stopped. But right then, as I was sitting on my bed in the dress I would wear to Mom's funeral, everyone else in the 7th grade was in homeroom. Lisa was still holding out her hand to me. She shook it a little to remind me it was there, and I took it. We walked out of the room. Lisa's coffee mug was still sitting on my nightstand, but I didn't remind her to take it with her. I don't know why. I followed Lisa downstairs and into the kitchen. Someone had lined up my pill bottles on the table. That's the thing about AIDS. You can never forget that you have it. Technically, I don't even have AIDS. I'm HIV positive, which means I'm infected, but I'm not sick. But I have to take pills every day like clockwork to make sure I don't get sick. I take them 3 times a day, with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I have to take them at the exact same times every day, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. Some people think as long as you take the pills, you'll stay healthy. They think people die of AIDS only if they live in poor countries where they don't have medicine, but it's not that easy. It's just so hard to take medicine all the time. It's like a constant reminder that you're not normal, and some people have really bad side effects, so they can't take their pills like they're supposed to. That's what happened with Mom. The medication made her sick, so she couldn't take the right amount. I only get a little bit sick when I take my pills, and the sick feeling goes away pretty quickly. At school, when I have to take my pills, the nurse doles out the exact dosage. Like she doesn't trust me to remember how much to take. But at home, it's up to me. I pressed on the child safety lock and popped open one of the bottles. When I was little, I used to cry every time I had to take my medicine. It tasted so gross, and I hated feeling nauseous 3 times a day. Mom would hold the bottle up and kiss it. "I love this for keeping you well," she would say. I closed my eyes for a second and thought of Mom's voice again. I had learned to swallow pills, so I didn't have to take that awful liquid stuff anymore. But I still hated it. Uncle Rob was standing in front of the fridge, leaning inside with the door wide open, his cell phone balanced between his ear and his shoulder. "Well, that's what you're paid for, buddy," Uncle Rob said. He was speaking loudly, the way he always did. When I was little, I asked Aunt Laura what Rob's job was, and she said he puts deals together. I pictured him at his office with a deck of cards, dealing them out to a bunch of guys in suits. I still had no idea what his job really was. Uncle Rob turned from the fridge and saw me at the table. "Sorry," he mouthed, and walked out of the room. I heard him start cursing in the hallway. I'm going to stop there. But yeah, so far it's a very good book. So if you haven't read it, just check it out. Positively by Courtney Sheinmel.